Hello, everybody, and welcome to F1 Down Under. I'm Hayley,
And I'm Matt.
and this is our race reaction to the Chinese Grand Prix. Well, it was an interesting race, to say the least.
Yeah, yeah. I think nice. There was a few incidents, a few things going on,
Yeah,
and the circuit I think created some interesting moves. So
yeah, lots of overtaking, which is good to see. But let's first talk about the race start. Nice and clean, which we like to see. No lap one incidences.
no, but I think Alonso got a good start. Went around the outside. He really pushed in.
Yeah, good lap one overtaking before DRS, which was very interesting. Some gained, some lost.
Yeah.
Lewis wasn't very happy in the car in those softs.
No, he didn't make the most of those. But I think they got away. They got round, and then it settled down a little bit. I think Leclerc did all right.
Yeah,
His car started to come back after a little bit of a close call with Carlos in the first lap. But
but what was really interesting then was how quickly the pit stops were coming,
yeah,
because I think Sonoda pitted on lap 6.
yeah, there was a couple of people with soft tyres, didn't they? So they started pitting quite early and then covering each other off.
So obviously the tyre degradation was really high, which we were not expecting.
Yeah, I think it was clearly making them work those long, slow bends, put all the pressure on the tyres. So yeah, and then obviously then it did settle down for a bit,
Yeah.
and then we started to run into a few of the incidents and drama.
Yes. Well, obviously, lap 20, Valtteri Bottas' engine failed, so retired from a mechanical issue. So, unfortunately for him, can't do anything about that.
No, but I think obviously they came out with just some yellow flags, but I think it took a while
It took a
for,
very long time for the FIA just to even put the virtual safety car, because even though the car was so far out, it people could have still caught the car.
yeah, it was in a dangerous spot with the marshals trying to get it going, and then obviously they couldn't, so that's why they had to call a full safety car. So a few people had obviously pitted
In the
in the
virtual.
virtual. It started messing everyone's strategy up. Um, and it seemed to go on for quite a long time, quite a long amount of laps.
I think at 7 laps.
And then what happened on the restart?
Well, on the restart, then we had the whole restart conundrum with Lance Stroll running into the back of Daniel Ricciardo.
Yeah, who almost ran into the back, or
Oh,
did run into the back of Piastri.
so it was avoiding action to avoid action but Lance Stroll didn't avoid action.
Yeah, it was. They know it's going to go slow into that hairpin bend. Everybody was just
Bad.
thinking it was starting to go quicker. I don't know. That led to Lance getting a 10-second penalty, which I
Which
think was fair, to be honest.
I think that's fair. He ran the back into Ricciardo, which then lent him to retire the car. So I think it's fair.
Yeah, and then halfway around the lap, we get Magnussen and Sonoda right after the restart. I think Magnussen was being very ambitious.
I think, yeah, ambitious is
A polite way of putting it.
polite way of putting it. Putting his elbows out.
Yeah, yeah, somewhat. That obviously took Sonoda off, which caused another safety car.
After literally probably a lap and a half of
Yeah,
racing.
but that's when it got interesting because then, for some reason, I still don't get why, Alonso pitted and put on softs.
No, because they were still had 25 laps to go at this point. So even if they would have had better chance putting mediums on, because that's probably plausible to do mediums if But
Yeah,
softs, they would definitely have to pit again. And this point, Ricardo was still out, so I don't know why they didn't pit him and put the new change of tyres on if they were thinking of still keeping him out because they didn't know the severity of the damage at this point.
yeah, yeah. That just seemed a little bit strange. I mean, Alonso came back though, didn't he? I mean, he took everyone else was on much older tyres, so he did get past quite a few. But I don't know. I don't know where could he have swapped for some mediums?
I think if he was on the mediums, he would have gained higher places because obviously he lost places at the beginning, but I think he could have potentially got back what he
Yeah.
lost.
And I think the strategy was interesting at Red Bull because obviously Max had pulled out enough of a gap for him to pit and go out in front of Perez, and then Perez came in straight after him. But then they pitted again, and obviously Norris didn't. He only pitted the once under the safety car, which allowed him to jump Perez in the end.
Yes. But that one stop did save Norris coming second.
Yeah. So, any big surprises, do you think, other than the incidents?
I think, well, for me, the big surprise is, apart from the incidents, how well Lewis stayed. Because Lewis started 18th, remember, from
Yeah.
qualifying. He avoided all the instances, kept on his strategy, and managed to finish eighth. So, from a comeback kind of drive, he did fairly well.
Yeah.
Could in the car that he wasn't very happy with.
No, I think my big surprise was probably just how quick Lando was in the McLaren. I wasn't expecting it with those slow bends, and I don't think they were to be quite as quick as it
No,
was. Certainly, it was the second quickest car. Outperformed the Ferraris, which surprised me a little bit. I thought Ferrari would do better than they did.
I was also shocked about about one how the tires were degrading so much, and how slow the Ferraris were compared to the McLarens. Like I thought the Ferraris, this was going to be Ferrari track, whereas not it, and the McLarens were going to really struggle. But it's a lot to learn.
Yeah, maybe, and that's maybe the thing with it being a sprint weekend. Obviously, they have different runs and different things. I think maybe some of them try to tweak it too much after the first sprint race. I think that's what happened to Lewis. But yeah, it's interesting to go into another sprint weekend
Next weekend.
not in the next race.
So, who would you be your driver of the day? So, obviously, driver of the day was Lando Norris, but who would your driver of the day
Who would buy
be?
a drive today? I think I'm going to go with Hulkenberg. I mean, he got points. He got into the points again. He looked pretty racy. Um, yeah, I'd for someone in that he's I think at the minute he's outperforming Magnussen and he's outperforming that car. What about you?
Um, I would say Hulkenberg or Alonso. I mean, yes, Lando did amazing, but Alonso did an amazing job in that Aston, and also Hulkenberg in that Haas scoring those points. But all the
Yeah,
other teams obviously did an amazing job, so I can't.
yeah.
And
I think the other thing that was surprised me, I guess, I thought George was just really quiet. He got going and then just was quiet.
it
There
was very
was
quiet from Mercedes,
yeah.
which is unusual.
So I'll have to see
But
what happens.
also there was lots of midfield battles, which was very exciting to watch from.
Yeah, and I think it did benefit ultimately from the safety car closing everything up. It did make it exciting. I mean, the fact Max won by such a big margin, and really that was only 20 laps again. He had a big
Yeah,
margin. Um, if it had been the full race without the safety car, I think he would have been,
like 2 laps.
yeah, well ahead. So,
Yes,
can anything stop him?
I have no idea. We'll have to wait and see. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.